Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd. As my friends over at Yarnspirations.com. Today is the Baby Mosaic Crochet Blanket. So what we're going to be doing today is mosaic technique, and I will take you through the repeat of this. This is a relatively easy pattern, but it is labeled as intermediate because it is a mosaic based blanket. So when you go to look at this blanket from this angle, you really don't get a good perception of what it looks like, but here is what it looks like if you were to change out the yarn, and it's going to be like this. It reminds me of a game in the 70s, like something on TV. So it's really quite fun, and I'm going to be using these colors here on camera today, and we're gonna get ourselves started. So let's take a look further into this pattern before we begin our journey. On page number 3 is the Crochet Mosaic pattern. Just like you see, it's in diagram format. It's multiples of 10 plus 14. So you just keep crocheting 10, 10, 10, 10 for your chain, and when you're satisfied with the width, just add another 14 chains in order to have the balance. This is not 10 plus 4. This is 10 plus 14, and in order to keep this look. So let's continue. You're gonna be using a 4mm size G crochet hook today, and we're also recommending Bernat, what do we have? Bernat Baby Crushed Velvet. You could use also Bernat Baby Velvet, and you can use Bernat Velvet as well. So we're gonna be having fun with this design, and I'm gonna show you a little swatch, and we're gonna get ourselves started today. So here's a blown up version of this pattern, and what we have here is that I want to mark which ones are equaling what. So when we have the first color, that is going to be our one color, and then the burgundy equals gray. So whenever you see gray here, that means that it's a burgundy. So with this kind of blanket, what's gonna happen is that we're gonna go across with our burgundy and then back, and we're always gonna change our yarn on this side of the project. So this is the other color, so in my case it'll be gray, so it'll be gray there and back. So we're just going to carry up the yarns up the side so that you can not have to weave in any ends, so you can carry it over to your border and hide it underneath. Let's go back to the sample and verify that. So we need to do these 3 rows to get ourselves started. These are the foundation rows, and then you repeat all the way from 1 to 12 as big as you want to go, and when you're satisfied with the size of it, then you will do number 13 right at the top there, and that will finish it off and make your end solid. Let's continue now, and let's go and see the sample real quick. So when you look at the sample here, this is one of the repeats, so I did it twice just to verify that, so you can see that it just keeps puzzling on top of each other. So you will see that the yarn is just being carried up on the side, so when you do the border and going around this thing, you are gonna cover up over top of those carrying lines, and it'll be a nice very clean edge when you go to do that. So we'll be doing that today as well, the border. So this is kind of how we're gonna go, and once you understand this concept, it's really not that hard, and there are other mosaic patterns available on our website as well as the Yarnspirations, and we have video tutorials for other levels of mosaic as well. So let's continue now, and let's grab our hook and yarn, and now let's play. So keeping a little bit of a longer tail so you can use that to hide it later with the tapestry needle, create a slip knot, and if you want the blanket exactly as is, then you will chain 134. That includes all the multiples and everything you need. If you would like to change the size of this, you're going to chain in sets of 10. So 10, 10, 10, 10. When you're happy with the width, just add another 14 and you'll have balance. So that's what I'm gonna do. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So, and there's the 10th. So you could decide if it's gonna be wide enough, yes or no. If not, continue. So either chain 134 or do multiples of 10 plus 14, and I'll see you at the end of your chain. So now that I've gone all the way across, whether it was the multiples or the set amount of 134, going back is going to be the same for everybody. So you're just gonna just go second chain from the hook. So just count it back. So there's the 1 chain and there's the second, and you are just gonna turn it over and get the back hump of the second chain and single crochet. Once you get the back hump of that, the next one is just gonna be sitting up ready for you. The chain will stay turned upside down, and if you're new to this yarn, it may be a little bit harder for you to see, but I've been using this yarn for quite some time, and really the stitches are there, and you can also use your fingertips as well. So single crochet yourself all the way across this project. When you're coming all the way across, I'm just coming into my last one, we're gonna get prepared to jump to the next color of yarn at the end of this chain. So when I single crochet, I'm not going to finish this stitch. I'm gonna keep just 2 here. I'm then going to grab my secondary color that I want to play with, and I want to get that ready. So you can create a slip knot to begin, and you can leave a long tail that you can deal with later, and you're going to put that onto your hook and you're going to pull that through. So we're going to leave the gray behind for now and just use this new color as we then go into the setup row number 2. Let's just turn our work and just make sure that the secondary yarn is just out of your way and it won't interfere with your project. Let's go to the diagram now and let's see what we're gonna get involved with now. So as we now move up to row number 2, it's gray, so we're gonna be changing it to burgundy. In my case, you could be any color you wish. It's gotta be a different color. There's no point doing this concept without changing colors. So we're gonna chain up 1, and in the first 4 stitches we're gonna put 4 single crochets in a row. We're then going to skip a stitch, and every time you skip 1 stitch you have to chain 2. Okay, so it's just 1 extra chain than what you've skipped. So in the future you'll notice that we have to skip 2 stitches, therefore you'll chain 3, and then you'll see up here you're skipping 3 stitches, therefore you chain 4. So you're chaining 1 extra than what the space is. And why is that? It's because that will create an extra space, so when this jumps down in front of it, it sits down flush with the blanket and it works. So then once you skip that 1 stitch and chain 2, you're gonna just single crochet in the next 3, chain 2, skip another stitch, and then do the 5 here in a row, and then skip a stitch, and etc. So what we have to do is we have to keep repeating this pattern over and over and over until we get to the very end of this. So it's just a matter of just making sense on how that's gonna happen. Here's what you need to know before you continue though. Here that we have 4 stitches on both sides here, this is only on the edge. So when you're doing the repeat pattern, you'll have 3 and 5, 3 and then 5, 3 and 5, and it's only on the edges that you'll have these 4. So when you're going to do this repeat pattern, just watch out for that and just make sure that you're capturing that as well. Setup row number 2. So we're just gonna chain up 1, and as I mentioned, we're going to single crochet in the first 4. So let's just count those out. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. We're now going to skip a stitch and we're gonna start our repeat patterning. So we're gonna just chain 2, skip only 1 stitch, and single crochet in the next 3. So 1, 2 and 3. We're now going to chain 2 and skip another stitch and then single crochet in the next 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So that's our repeat pattern. So you're gonna chain 2, skip 1 and single crochet in the next 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then chain 2, skip a stitch, and then single crochet in the next 5, and you're gonna keep doing that all the way across for me until you get to the other side. So I'm just doing my 5. So then chain 2, skip a stitch, and then single crochet in the next 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then eventually you'll hit the other side. So you're just gonna chain 2, skip a stitch, and single crochet in the final 4 stitches. When you get all the way to the other side, you're gonna turn your work. Now when you're on this side of the project, this is considered the back side, you're matching stitch to stitch. So if there's a chain 2 space, you match that, so you make it a chain 2 space, and you're gonna do that every time you're on the back. So whenever I say I'm on the back, I always say match stitch to stitch, chain for chain, and that's what that means. So we're gonna chain up 1, and we're just gonna apply 1 single crochet in each of the single crochets or each of the stitches across, except for the chain 2 spaces. I'm going to chain 2, 1 and 2, jump over that chain and start in the next single crochet right after it, and just keep filling those in. So stitch to stitch, chain to chain. So there's another chain. Just use your fingertips if you cannot see it. You can feel it when it's open, and just keep on doing that all the way across. This is setup row number 3, and we're gonna get started on the repeat pattern when we get to the other side. So just match stitch to stitch, chain for chain, and I'll see you back here in just a moment. When you come to the other side, you are still matching stitch to stitch, but you can see this is where all the tails are. So this is where we're going to change it back to the other color. So when we get to the other one, we don't finish that stitch. We just drop this, leave it out of your way so you're not gonna interfere with it at all, and grab the strand that's leading to the yarn ball of the gray, and you're going to finish it with the gray. Therefore the gray is now ready. So turn your work, make sure that burgundy is out of your way. Just probably lay it down on your lap. Keep that out of the way, and we're now going to start rows number 1 through 12, which is part of the repeat. So rows number 1 through 12 is part of the repeat, so you keep repeating it over and over and over. So we're gonna chain up 1 and we're gonna single crochet in the first 3, and then you're going to chain 2 and skip a stitch. But after you chain that 2, you have to double crochet down into here where that other gray is, and this provides an overlay which hides this burgundy underneath. You're then going to single crochet the next 3 and then jumping down again. So usually what I do is I say a chain 2 and then jump down, and then single crochet in the next 3, jump down, and then chain 2, skip a stitch here, and then you're chaining 3. So when you skip stitches, what you're doing is you're making room for the next one to jump down in the future. So let's begin now round number 1, and we're just going to just take our time, or sorry, row number 1, and let's just take our time going across. Let's begin row number 1. We're gonna chain up 1, and you can follow this in the diagram too, and you're going to single crochet in the next 3. So 1, 2, and 3. You're then going to chain 2 to make space, and you're immediately going to jump down. So you're gonna jump down to this gray one right here, and you're gonna double crochet when you jump down. So just go right into the gray, stay on the front side of the project, don't cover up over top of those burgundy, just keep it out of the way, and just double crochet, and that puts a line straight down. So you can see that there's a space next time that you're gonna use, and this one has just jumped down. Starting in the very next stitch that's available to you, you're going to single crochet the next 3. So 1, 2, and 3, and my fingertips could feel that there's a jump down coming. So I'm going to jump down, and then I'm going to chain 2 to create a new space. So you're gonna see that this pattern has balance when you're doing that. So when you're gonna create this chaining, you're going to skip the first single crochet, use your fingertips if you cannot see it, and go to the second one over because you have to skip, and you are just going to single crochet the next 3 in a row. So 1, 2, and 3. You're then going to chain 2, skip the next single crochet, and jump down. Okay, and now you are going to then single crochet the next 3 in a row. So 1, 2, and my fingertips feel a hole coming, so it's gonna be a jump down. So I'm gonna jump down and then chain 2 to create a space, and then skipping that next single crochet, go to the second over. So you're going to notice the commonalities here. So when you see these two, there's a space before and after the section, and you also see it here. Okay, so you can see how it's gonna keep mirroring itself. So I'm just going to continue to single crochet the next 3, and I can feel that there's a hole coming, but before I get there I need to leave a space first, and then jump down, and then single crochet the next 3, and etc. And you're gonna do this all the way across, please, and eventually you'll come to the other side. So just put me on pause and get all the way over there. And for those continuing, when you go to jump down in your very final one near the edge, you're going to chain 2 to leave a space, and you will single crochet the final 3. So 1, 2, 3. So this is what it should look like. So you should see the pairs are starting to line up. See, 1, 2, and 3. So when you do row number 2, it's gonna be stitch to stitch, chain for chain. So chain up 1 and apply a single crochet into each of the stitches. Now the ones that jump down, they kind of get hidden a bit, so make sure that you are paying attention to your counting. So I can feel that there's a chain here, so I'm gonna chain 2 to jump, and see how the double crochet is not joined to this section, it's just sitting in front, make sure that you do capture those as well for your stitches for single crochets. And just, I would keep a count, so there's kind of a 5 in a row when you see that. It helps you to know that. And then chain 2 and then match stitch to stitch, chain for chain. This is row number 2. Do this all the way across. When you get to the other side, you'll notice that the stripes appear on the back side, and on the front side you have the fun pattern. On the very last stitch we're going to drop the gray, again keep it out of the way, and grab the burgundy that's just sitting there waiting for you and pick it up, and then let's begin row number 3 and 4. So 3 and 4, it's gonna create more overlays, and I would move this to your lap section and bring up your burgundy. Let's go back to the diagram. In row number 3 we're gonna chain up 1 and we're gonna single crochet the first one. We're then going to chain 3 and skip over 2, and after we do the chain 3 we're going to immediately jump down. We're then going to single crochet the next 5 in a row. So 1 2 3 4 5, jump down, chain 4, skip only 3, and then jump down. And you're gonna do this all the way across. Let's begin row number 3 using the burgundy. So let's begin. We're gonna chain up 1 and 1 single crochet in the first one, and then you need to chain 3. So 1 2 and 3, and you're going to skip over the next 2 stitches and then jump down here. So just jump down into the burgundy section and come back up, and then after you have that done, the next 5 in a row are each a single crochet. So 1 2 3 4 5, and then jump down. So just wrap the hook and jump down. Okay, and now this time we're going to chain 4. So 1 2 3 and 4, and skip over the next 3, which is the only 3 that's sitting there, and the next one is a jump down after that. So you're just gonna immediately jump down. So these ones here that span across, they jump down, chain 3, and then jump down on the other side. After you get that jump down done, you are going to then put 5 single crochets in a row. So 1 2 3 4 5, and then jump down again. So jump down and then chaining 4. So 1 2 3 4, and then just come immediately here. So you're gonna skip over the middle 3 and go right to the 4th one and jump down. And you're gonna do that all the way across. So just put me on pause now and get yourself across. And for those willing to continue, here's what we're gonna do to finish. We're just gonna continue then to do the next 5 in a row. Make sure you get right into a stitch. So 1 2 3 4 and 5, and then jump. So then what we're going to do is that we're gonna jump down, and then you're going to chain a total of 3. So 1 2 and 3, skip over the first 2 and just single crochet right into the edge, and that will just be how this looks. And this is row number 3. So turning around, we're gonna match stitch to stitch, chain for chain. So just keep remembering how many chains that you did. So you're gonna single crochet in the first one, and then this is chaining of 3. So 1 2 3. So skipping over that and single crochet the next. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7. So the reason why I counted that, which I normally wouldn't, is to let you know that because you did drop downs, you had to, even though you had 5 in a row, the drop downs also count. So that's why there's 7. These big spans, remember, they were chaining of 4s. So just jump over. So match stitch to stitch, chain for chain, and I will see you at the end of row number 4. When you get all the way to the other side, you're just single crocheting in the last one, but you're getting prepared, and you're gonna drop that out of the way, and then just grab your next color. You eventually get yourself into the rhythm, and then turn, and then we're gonna begin 5 and 6 next. So row number 5, we are going to then go across. We're gonna single crochet in the first. The next 2 are just jump downs, and then there's a chain 2 space and skipping 1. there's 5 single crochets in a row, skip chain 2 to skip, and then the next 3 in a row is going to be very solid. There'll be 3 jump downs and then a chain 2 to skip 1 and then 5 in a row, and we're going to continue that all the way. And then obviously row number 6 is chain to chain, stitch to stitch. Let's do number 5 and 6. So let's do number 5. We're going to just chain up and we're going to single crochet in the first one, and then we're going to jump down for 2 in a row. So there's 2 spots left down here, so we're going to jump down twice in a row. So 1 and 2, and then after you did the jump you got to chain 2 to create a new space and skip the first one out from the space there, and you're going to single crochet the next 5 in a row. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So you have to create a space before you can do your fancy dancy jump down. So chain 2 and then skip the next stitch, and the next 3 right here are going to be jump downs. So 1, 2 and 3, and then after you get that jump down you have to create a new space. So chain 2, skipping the first one out and single crocheting the next 5, and you're going to do that all the way across, and you're going to notice it's going to leave a nice solid look, which is what you're going for. So you're going to do another one. So chain 2 to jump, and then you're gonna just come on down. So jump on down, and there's 3 in a row. So it's only on the edges that there's 2, but all in the middle section there's 3 jump downs. Sometimes I come up with my own words to make it make sense in my own head. So chain 2, skip the first one out, and then single crocheting the next 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Chain 2 to jump to skip, and then you're just going to jump down for 2 in a row. So 1 and 2, and then you're going to single crochet the last one, and that was row number 5, like that. Now you're going to turn and match stitch to stitch, chain for chain. So that's what I want you to do, and I will see you at the end of row number 6. So it's coming to the end of row number 6, the last one. Of course we're going to change it. You can always see where the yarn is, where you need to change, and we're going to switch back to burgundy, and let's do 7 and 8. Let's review the diagram once again, and you can see the pattern is really turning out nicely. Let's do rows number 7 and 8. So we're going to chain up 1, and we're going to single crochet in the first 3 and then jump down, chain 2 to skip over the next one, and then do 3 in a row, chain 2 and skip over the next one, and then jump down, and then we're going to do 3 in a row, jump down, and then leave a space, and etc. So we've kind of already done this in the past, so it's just a matter of just finishing off how the boxes look. Let's begin row number 7, and of course row number 8 is stitch to stitch, chain for chain. Let's begin number 7. Let's begin number 7, chain up 1, and we're going to do 1 single crochet in the first 3, and then you're going to jump down. So just jump, and then chain 2 to create a space. So you're going to jump over the first one, so just skip the next one and single crochet the next 3. So 1, 2, 3, chain 2, skip over the last one, and then just jump down. Okay, now you're going to single crochet the next 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to jump down and then create a space. So chain 2, skip the first one out and go to the second and do 3 in a row, chain 2 and jump, skip over the next one and jump down. So you should be able to start seeing how the pattern is puzzling together when you're going to do this. So everything is in sets of pairs, so when you look at it from this perspective, so you can see how things are working together. So now that I just jumped down, so we're going to do the next 3 in a row. So 1, 2 and 3, and then jump, create a space, so chain 2, skip in the first one and just do the next 3, chain 2 to skip the next one and then jump down, and you were going to single crochet then the last 3 in a row like that. So you can see those boxes are kind of forming. So we're gonna turn our work and match stitch to stitch, chain for chain, so chain 1 and stitch to stitch, chain for chain. I'll see at the end of row number 8. At the end of row number 8, again we're just gonna drop and grab our gray back up, and let's do 9 and 10. So here we have 9 and 10. We're gonna chain up 1, do 4 in a row, jump down, and then we're gonna chain 4. We've done this in the past, it was just over here instead, and we're gonna skip over 3 and then jump down. We're gonna do 5 in a row, jump down, chain 4, skip over 3 and jump down, and etc. Then coming back we just have to make sure that we match stitch to stitch, chain for row number 10. Let's begin. Let's do row number 9. We're gonna chain up 1 and we'll do 4 single crochets in a row, so 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then we're gonna jump down and then chain 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're going to jump down, so you're skipping over the middle 3 stitches, and then you're gonna single crochet the next 5 in a row, so 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And now let's jump down and create a chain 4 space again, so 1, 2, 3, 4, skipping over the next 3, but you just have to just jump down, so just remember just to jump down after that, and then single crochet the next 5 in a row, and you'll do this all the way across for row number 9. And then eventually you'll come to the other side. So just coming down, just put me on pause if you need to catch up, and chain 4, and I'm jumping down, and the very final stitches after this there's 4 in a row. So this is row number 9. So on the 10th row just turn your work, stitch to stitch, chain for chain. They are chain 4 spaces, so make sure that you match those length of chains. I'm coming up to the end of row number 10. I'm matching stitch to stitch all the way to the end, chain to chain of course, and then the last one we're gonna get ready and switch back to the burgundy, and let's do 10 and 11, and these are be the final for the repeat before going back all the way back to number 1 and going through the sequence again. So for 11 and 12 we're going to just go across. We're gonna put 4 in a row, chain 2, we're gonna jump down and fill in this spot with 3 jump downs, chain 2 to skip over, and then 5 in a row, chain 2 to jump over and then jump down for 3, chain 2 to skip or jump over, and then you just keep on going. Row number 12 then coming back is stitch to stitch, chain for chain, and this will conclude the end of the repeat. Let's begin number 11. We're gonna chain up 1 and we're gonna apply 4 single crochets in a row, and then chain 2, skip the next one out, and you're gonna do the next 3 jump downs in a row. So this provides a nice thick center point of a square that you can notice. Noticing last time that you did it the thickness was in gray, now this time it will be in the burgundy, it'll be the secondary color. Chain 2 after you get the 3 jump downs and skip the first one out, and you were going to apply then 5 double crochet or 5 single crochets in a row. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then you're gonna repeat that, so chain 2 to skip the next one and then jump down for 3 in a row. Okay, and then chain 2 to skip the first one out and do the next 5. chain 2, skip the next one and do the next 3 in a row. And then chain 2, skip the next one and then do the final 4. So that was row number 11. So like number 12, we're returning back, so it's stitch to stitch, stitch to stitch, chain for chain. So we're just gonna chain up 1 and then just continue to do that. The chain 2 spaces are there. So let's get all the way back to the start of this and then we'll talk about it and then I'll show you how to conclude your blanket. So we're now at the end of number 12. This is the end of the repeat. So the last one we have to switch back. So you're just in the instructions gonna go back all the way to 1. In the video description I put time markers there if that will help you to be able to do that, to go backward to just reverse and do 1 through 12 all over again. So here's the thing. Once you have 1 through 12 done, you have to complete it a set number of times. So let me just take a look at my paperwork here. And what we have is that it's stated that we need to get it until it's about 40 inches. So 40 inches long. Then once you're satisfied with it, then we're going to do the final one to fill in the final spot. So if you end, you will leave holes. So you have to finish out in a way that these holes will be all filled in so that it looks solid like it did in the beginning. So we're now going to move on to the round 13, which is considered the next row in the pattern in order for you to be able to have a nice solid row. And let's do that next. So row 13 is the conclusion of the blanket at the end. So we're gonna chain up 1 and we're gonna put in 4 single crochets in a row. We're gonna jump down. Okay, this is on row number 12 and 11 that when we did it. So we're gonna jump down and single crochet the next string and next 3 and then jump down. This whole row is about filling in the spot but not leaving any chain spaces so that nothing is left opened. And that's what we're gonna do for row number 13. So let's do that next. So let's chain 1 and we're gonna single crochet in each of the stitches that are there, and if there's a jump down I need you to go there and finish the jump down. So if there's a jump down, so just finish it as a jump down and then continue to single crochet the remaining all the way across. So I will leave this with you, and then at the end of this row we need to fasten off and then we're gonna start our border work, which is really quite simple. And the border can be pretty much done at any time because there's no special counting required for doing the bordering. It's just a matter of solid rounds all the way around. I'll see you at the end of this row. So I'm coming all the way to the end and this is where I'm going to leave it. So that's it, and we want to fasten off. So I'm gonna show you one time only, and you'll do this with all your strands. So you want to finish them all off. So if they're still attached at this point, you're gonna want to untouch them. Is that even a word? I don't even know. So I just want to untouch it from the ball. So we're going to just pull through a loop and get your tapestry needle out. And you want to weave in your ends so that it goes underneath the stitch work. Okay, so just glide it up underneath. And stay within the same color so you don't interfere with the color sequence. So going across, and when you pull you don't want it to change the shape at all. So pull it taut but don't change the shape by pulling it too tight. And you're gonna go back and forth like that to finish that off. Now the burgundy is just sitting on the other side. It's just still hanging out of the project because it thinks you're coming back to rescue it, but you're not. So you're gonna do the same thing with that one there. And just kind of pull it snug and then just drag it through the same coloring there and go back and forth a total of 3 times. So you can see at this one here we still have the yarn strands still hiding on this, or still carrying up on the side. We're gonna get rid of that next because we're gonna do our first pass around the border. So your blanket can pretty much be any size, so if you don't want to go 40 inches you can do that. And I need you to weave in the beginning tails as well of what we started in the same manner, a back and forth 3 times, and I'll see you in just a moment. Okay, let's begin to do our border. So this is the top where we left off, so I want to go to the top right. If you're left-handed you'll go to the top left. So what I want to do is just create a slip knot and put this on here. So the corners are always going to be the same thing. So coming in the very last stitch is, let's just form a corner. So just pull through, chain 1, and in that same stitch I want you to single crochet, chain 2 and single crochet. So you'll do that on all the corners. So I'm having you start at the top because the designer says so, but also because of the fact that you get yourself established really quite well in understanding this. So you're just gonna apply 1 single crochet in each of the stitches going all the way across, and when we get to the next corner we're gonna turn and work our way all the way down. So this bearing is gonna happen when we come back all the way around. So they're leaving the fun stuff to the end, which honestly is no big deal. So just get yourself to the next corner and let's turn our work and then go down the side. I'm coming into my last stitch, so I'm gonna single crochet, chain 2 and single crochet in the same stitch. Now if you're familiar with single crochet, when you do single crochet when it's the side of an edge like this, every piece gets something. So every row gets a single crochet. When you did the first one that was already this gray section. So you're just gonna do at the end of each row as being 1 single crochet. The difference of this side versus the other side is that this side has nothing carried on because it was the side that we did the return pass on. So it's not something that we had to worry about. So when you get to the bottom, then you'll put your single crochet, chain 2, single crochet and turn it, go along the bottom. I don't need to show you that, but what I will do is that I'll see you at the other side here when we're about to cover in over top of those tails, and I'll see you back here in just a moment. So I'm just working my way along the bottom edge, and in the last one I'm gonna single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. So what I want to do as I'm working my way up this one, this counts as this gray, so I'm gonna immediately come into the burgundy, and when I do that, when I go in I want to cover up over top of this gray so it's stuck underneath the stitch. Okay, so I'm going in there. Now when there's burgundy being carried, when I go in I want to trap that burgundy in too. So what I'm doing is that I'm just going up over top of the edging and capturing those loose strands in. So when I turn it around there should be nothing, that's just ends that I gotta deal with, but there should be no carrying up yarns along the side. And you're gonna do that. Now when we started and did the first corner exactly as we did it, and so that's not something that we have to do. We're just gonna attach then on the last one, attach it to the first single crochet, and then we're gonna change our color. Actually no, we're not. We're gonna keep this same color one more time. So what I want you to do is slip stitch to the next chain 2 space, which is the corner, and create another corner. So just chain up 1 single crochet, chain 2, 1 single crochet in the same spot, and go all the way around. So now that you've got it established, you're just gonna match the stitch to stitch. So it's just 1 single crochet in each stitch going all the way around. Corners it'll be 1 single crochet, chain 2, 1 single crochet, and I'll see you at the end of this round. So I'm coming up all the way around. We have 2 more rounds to do, and we're gonna be using the other color in order to do that. So when I get all the way back around, remember that we've already done the corner. So you're just gonna fasten off, and you can weave in your ends with your tapestry needle. I'd recommend it with this yarn because this yarn is chenille and it's very shiny and it's very slippery. So you want to use a tapestry needle in order to hide those in. So when you start the next 2 rounds you're gonna start right off the corner just how I showed you, and you'll use the other color then and do 2 rounds of that color, and then you're good to go and your blanket is good to enjoy. So I'm gonna leave that in your capable hands, and today is another free tutorial and pattern by Yarnspirations.com. Have a good one. We hope to see you again real soon. Bye bye.